this is probably one of my bigger bucks to date.
Guys, I cannot believe that actually worked.
Looks like a double long shot.
It was hot, really hot.
Morning guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, really appreciate you taking the time to watch a man versus deer video. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a bird roosted, and he's roosted in a very, very killable spot. The spot he's in, 9 times out of 10, when I've seen that before, they fly down into a little green field that's back there, and they work the same way every time. So my plan is to get in between the turkeys where I think they want to work. I'm going to set up some decoys where they're pretty visible from the roost, you know, and my hope is that they'll fly straight down to those decoys and I can get one killed before work. Very, very similar situation to the first bird I killed this season, which if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to put a link for that in the description. Super cool hunt. Didn't touch my call once. Had a bunch of turkeys whooping up on the funky chicken. Really worth a watch if you haven't seen it. But that's my plan this morning, guys. It's early. I got here early. There's a few other guys that hunt this spot. I wanted to make sure that I was here first, and I am. I'm going to sneak in with no light. I'm not going to do any talking once I get there. I probably won't do any calling unless I think I need to, and hopefully I'm just going to let good positioning and decoys do the work for me this morning. Last day of the season, so it's a pretty high odds hunt, to be honest, and it's the last chance I got to get one, so let's go get him. Well, I've got one bird to gobble, but he sounds farther away than the two that I was hearing last night. I think it may be a different bird, or one of the birds I was roosting got bumped. Either way, I think I'm still in a good position to call him from. I think there could still be, I've had birds flying this location silent on me before too, so I'm definitely going to stick it out here until the sun comes up. And then based on what I hear and what I see, I may slide on up the ridge. Because if they don't sound like they're getting closer to me, they usually work up this ridge. And I can get on top of it pretty good from here. But I also could have birds fly down right into my lap, so I'm going to hang tight for now and see where the morning takes me. He's a one ridge over where I thought he was. Still definitely within a callable distance. And still likely within the direction he wants to travel anyways. Now that one sounded a lot closer. I don't think he's on the ground yet, but I think he maybe roosted like just over the tip of that draw or something. guys, I'm not sure what happened. I shot a nitro. It was an older shell. I've been shooting longbeard 4s, so I don't know if that thing patterns out of my gun differently, or if I blew the shot, or what. The shot felt good, you know. He was inside of 40 yards, or right at 40 yards, you know, which I can make those shots all day. Not sure exactly what happened. I do know that that was as close as he was getting, so if I had it to do over again, I'd probably have to do the same thing, but I would probably use a Longbeard instead of a Nitro or Remington Nitro. So I grid searched that whole area for the last 45 minutes. I never seen that bird fly into a tree. He looked like when he went into the woods that he was pitching down. I never found him, and I grid searched every inch of that area that he looked like he went down in. So my guess is he hit the ground and kept running. I never did bust him up. I never did, you know, flush him out of any trees. So really sucks. Is what it is. I got a couple more hours before I got to go to work, so I guess I'll try to go get on another one. There was a bird gobbling back there. I'll probably give him a break for a little bit, go back to the truck and get a few more shells and just kind of see where the morning takes me. Kind of sucks, but at the same time it was a pretty cool hunt. That bird did come in silent like I thought, you know. Just wish it had went different, that's all. Seemed like a big pretty bird. I can't for the life of me understand why he didn't come over and whoop on that Jake decoy, but who knows. Let's go get on another one.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let me show you guys something. Oh, that was awesome. Right in between these two pine trees over here, I glassed that bird, right? I think I'm gonna crawl to him with a tail fan. Well, he doesn't see me. So I sneak up behind this tree and I see that he's only like 10 steps in front of it. And so I switch the GoPro to my gun. I slowly rise up and I see his head pop just around this corner, and I shoot him at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps. I cannot believe that. Craziest, I always say that, pretty crazy way to end the season. Last day of Missouri season. I'm so thankful for this, especially after missing that bird this morning. Whew. What a morning.
What a way to end my Missouri season. Could not be more blessed, could not be more thankful to be able to get on a bird after ruining a perfectly good opportunity at one first thing this morning. I heard a couple of birds over there. I roosted them last night, you know, and they, like, picture perfectly flew down. They came in silent, you know, but they flew down and came straight to the decoys, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I didn't kill that bird. And I feel terrible about it, but I didn't kill that bird. There was another bird gobbling over there. I called at him for a little bit and tried to, you know, get a response, and I couldn't. So I figured I would come over here and glass this field and see if there was anything happening over here. Just so happens when I got in between those two pines, I was able to spot a bird in full strut with no other turkeys around him. and he didn't see me somehow. So when he turned around and put his tail fan to me, I ducked under a barbed wire fence and started crawling with my tail fan that I had. And for whatever reason, he didn't see me, or he did, and he wasn't wanting confrontation, and he kind of moved out of my field of view. Well, he put a tree in between me and him. So I used that to my advantage, and I closed that gap really quickly and really quietly. When I got to that tree, I realized there's no way I'm going to crawl to this thing with a tail fan. It's too close. So I switched the GoPro over to the gun, and I shouldered it, and I just slowly stood up because I couldn't see that bird, and I knew that tree was in between me and him. And I put it on the side of the tree that I thought he was going to pop out on. And sure enough, I think he had seen that tail fan, because he came looking, like he was trying to look around that corner. He peeked his head like that, and I put a really good shot on this one. Something I didn't do first thing this morning, which I'm thankful for. He's a really nice bird. He's probably got an 11-inch beard. One of his spurs is over an inch. The other one is close. Really pretty bird. Big bird, too. He's heavy. And he's got a beautiful tail fan, just like a perfect specimen of a Missouri turkey. And I could not be more thankful for this harvest. Second bird of my Missouri season. This was the last day, so that's going to end my Missouri season. I got a South Dakota trip coming up where I'm going to try to smack a Merriams, but that's going to do it for me in Missouri. I'm going to get this guy cleaned up. I am going to get my butt to work, and then we'll find something tasty to do with this guy. Welcome back to my kitchen, guys. It's been a few days. We got our bird cleaned up. We got our breast popped out. We picked off any feathers. We trimmed any silver skin. We gave it a good spray in the sink. We looked for any pellets. And what we're left with is a nice, clean, delicious looking piece of Missouri turkey breast. What we're going to do with this thing today is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And we're going to put this thing in the smoker. And we're basically going to make some cold cut style deli meat out of this. And we are going to make some badass sandwiches. We're going to basically tie this thing up with butcher twine. We're going to season it. We're going to smoke it. We're going to pull it at about 160, and that's going to be important. You don't want to leave it in there too long, because that will affect like the tenderness and the juiciness of the meat. But that in a nutshell is what we're going to do. I can't wait to dig into these things. Let's get after it. The first part of this process is going to be to lay out about 4 pieces of butcher twine. I'm then going to set the turkey breast on it long ways, and I'm going to tie the meat fairly tight. The purpose of doing this is so that the thinner pieces of meat kind of roll into themselves and don't cook as fast. You don't want them to dry out. You don't want them to overcook. It's going to keep the thinner pieces of meat a lot more juicy than they would otherwise be. Next thing I'm going to do is just come through and nip all the loose ends of the butcher twine off, and we're going to get this thing ready to be seasoned. For the seasoning on this, I went really simple. I got a small mixture here of salt, pepper, and garlic that I'm going to coat pretty liberally on here. The next thing I'm going to do is take some dried thyme, and this is one of my favorite seasonings. I use it every time I can. Really adds a lot to any dish. And then it would not be any kind of deli or lunch meat if we did not add a liberal amount of cracked black pepper. I'm just going to repeat that process on the other side, and we're going to get this thing ready for the smoker. This thing is already looking and smelling amazing. We've got our smoker set to 250, and it's been preheating the whole time we've been preparing it. The only thing we're going to do is set it in here, close the door, and wait. All right, guys, we've been smoking for about 3.5 hours on 250 degrees. Pulled this thing at about 165 internal temperature. and man, does it look good. I can already smell that this thing is going to taste amazing. It looks really good. It's kind of got a golden brown texture. Now, it doesn't look like the kind of golden brown you'd normally see on this kind of thing. That's because this had no skin on it. It came off a wild turkey, so there was no skin on it. I did not save the skin, you know. But it looks really good. It smells really good. And as much as I want to cut into this thing right now and try some, I'm not going to. I'm going to put it in the fridge for a minimum of a couple hours. When you're slicing one of these things for sandwich meat, you want it to rest for a little while so the juices stay in it, right? But you also want it to be cold. You want it to be chilled. That way it's going to slice easier and you're going to be able to get those good thin slices that are excellent for sandwich meat. So we're going to put this thing in the fridge and I'll check back with you guys in a couple hours and we will dig into this thing. All right, guys, it has been more than enough time for this thing to get completely chilled. I'm going to cut the butcher twine off. I'm going to slice some of this up and we are going to dig into it. I'm going to try a little piece by itself. I'm going to build me a sandwich and I think this is going to come out really, really good. Let's find out. Not really a whole lot of preparation to get this thing ready to eat. Basically, we're just going to take and peel the butcher twine off the meat. This thing has an awesome look to it. It has an awesome smell. The texture still feels like it retained a lot of the juice. I can't wait to slice into this thing. The next thing we're going to do is slice it up. Under normal circumstances, the best thing to do is to use a slicer, but I do not have one, so I opted for a super sharp fillet knife, and we're going to go for more of a carving board style for this meat. All right, I got this sliced up. Smells amazing, looks amazing. It's got a pretty awesome texture to it as well. It's almost like if you've ever bought lunch meat from the store, they have these carving board style deli cuts, and it really reminds me of that. I could have got these a lot thinner if I had a slicer. I just used a really sharp fillet knife, but they definitely have that lunch meat look, feel, and smell. Moment of truth, let's see what it tastes like. Pretty tender, coming apart pretty good. That bark is really, really good. It's got a nice, thick, almost barkish texture to it. The meat itself has a little bit of smoke in it. In fact, it has like a little pink smoke ring. It's really light, but it's there. The smoke definitely comes through. It's got a great consistency, very tender, easy to chew, pulls apart. And it definitely tastes like lunch meat. Now we're going to build us a sandwich and see what that's all about. Well, don't get really fancy with these. You could put a slice of cheese on it. You could put lettuce. You could put tomato. You could put a few strips of bacon. Just to keep things all about the meat here, I'm just going to put a little bit of horseradish between two slices of bread, load up a sandwich, and we are going to see what this thing is all about. Load up our sandwich here. Man, that's looking good. We're gonna put a lot of meat on it. Yeah, it's looking fire. Let me give you guys a look at this. Look at that. Okay, let's see what this sandwich is all about. Well guys, that's going to do it for this video. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you like this video, I've got another video out that's titled From Turkey Legs to Turkey Burgers. Really, really good video. It's about my first kill from this season. This was my second tag, and a really, really enjoyable video, and I basically take the meat from the turkey legs and make turkey burgers. So if you like this video, check this one out. I'll show it in the suggested videos at the end of this, and then I'll also link it in the description. Really appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you in the next one, and good luck in the woods.